Hello, loves. Welcome back to WitchyMarlaina's Ghost Adventures. I'm your host, WitchyMarlaina, and today, going back into 50 states and 500 scariest places to visit. And today's letter starts, so we're going to go to Ohio first. And I picked this place because it has some notoriety. And it's beautiful. And I haven't talked about a prison in a hot minute. We're going here. This is Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. Look how pretty that is. So let's get started, shall we? The Ohio State Reformatory was a place for nonviolent offenders, and it opened its doors November 4th, 1886. Now, this place is kind of famous. The reason I say that is because it was featured in three major motion pictures. We got Tango and Cash, Air Force One, and my favorite, Shawshank Redemption. So when I saw this place in Ohio, I had to do it just because I love that movie. This reformatory was an operational prison for 94 years and closed its doors in 1981. Now, granted, you can still go and do ghost tours, and it's its own museum, but it doesn't hold any prisoners anymore. Also, in its 94 years, it had plenty of death, violence, and disease. So much so that their cemetery next door to this beautiful building has 215 inmates buried there. 215, holy crap. Now, visitors claim to hear disembodied voices and conversations. They see shadows. They feel the feeling of dread and sadness and anger, which is rightfully so. It's a prison. Of course it's going to have all of those yucky feelings. 1948, the farm boss, his wife, and daughter were kidnapped and killed by two parolees that were enraged by them, but that was outside of the prison walls. Now, inside the prison walls, there was a superintendent by the name of Arthur Glackey and his wife Helen, and he was the superintendent from 1935 to 1959, so he was there for a hot minute. Now, Helen, they had a living quarters in there because the superintendent had to stay on premises, and Helen was going into her closet trying to reach her jewelry box, and when she went to grab the box, apparently a pistol was on the shelf too, fell, discharged, and shot her in the chest. What? Then, not even 2 years later, or a few years later, Arthur himself passed away on the premises by a heart attack. So visitors now claim they hear disembodied conversations where they seem that it's Helen and Arthur talking in the superintendent's office. I hope they're not arguing with each other. I hope they're having a good time. Then there's another famous story. It goes in the basement. There's a 14-year-old boy that likes to hang out in the basement, and I think he's kind of stuck there because he was beaten to death in the basement, and I can see where that dread and sadness definitely kind of lingers there. I know that there's plenty of other stories to this Ohio State Reformatory, and it was just so good to just dive into this. Thank you so much for joining me on my ghost adventures. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Bye!